All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. I ran a little long on the last one, so I'm going to make one more, and I'm going to actually add another one. So we're going to look at PEGY, and then we're going to look at GWAV. Yeah, GWAV. PEGY, PEGY, we did well on the Discord. I'll be honest with you. Again, I'm not really here to drop like entries. Like I'm not here to spoon feed tickers, right? I love kind of giving, oh man, it looked like, and you can see we actually had eyes on it for a bit, but that 522 day, which one of these was 522? This one right here. That was the day that started to make me believe this was setting up, and clearly we hit a home run the day after, right? And arguably you can say still are. I try not to give too much credit to post-market, and I'm not going to on this one, but yeah, we'll talk about that post-market move as well, all right? And then the other one is GWAV. I'm not that familiar with this one, but look at the volume that has happened here, all right? I am not sure what's going on, but there's clearly a lot more buying than selling, and we're hitting billions of shares per day. There are stocks that don't even get billions per month or quarter, right? So I'm not too sure what's going on. I'm kind of excited to hear from the viewers, honestly, on this one. But yeah, I will for sure give you my technical thoughts, all right? But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the, we'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. Are there none? Oh, there are none, but I will draw some horizontal support and resistance lines. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree with anything. Just anything you do helps, being here helps, and just I am so grateful for it all right? So let's get into it. And again, PEGY. You can see why we've been looking at this thing for a while, right? This is not that right there is for sure a gap, but red turns to green. It just does, right? And I'm gonna draw this line just to draw it. Let's have this right here, okay? So one thing I always talk about is the gap. Oh, interesting. That wasn't even the line. Oof. All right, let's not do this. There's no reason to even do this. Let's play it forward, all right? So, like I said though, we were looking at this thing even before this. You can see like January, February, March, April, and like mid-May, right? And what were we looking at? We were looking at this. There were moments where it looked like it was ready to go. There were moments where it looked like it was ready to go, right? There were moments where it looked like we'd been watching this, and there is nothing but, like, obviously it's a horrible thing if you were holding it right here and you watch it go down, right? But oh man, this is a parabolic move that, if you can find and time well, is a beautiful thing, right? And all we were doing was looking for this 50 to break, all right? And you can see it. My tongue got tied. There are 4 candles here, all right? Green and green are not the same thing, all right? Yeah, green is good and red is bad. That's a simple thing to say, but there are some better goods than others, right? If I buy a scratcher and I win $500,000, you gotta believe that's a lot better than hitting a free ticket, right? Both are good. Hey, I didn't lose anything, but all of a sudden I'm having caviar for dinner one day as opposed to, not caviar. That was a bad analogy, but yeah. This green one, I like a green outline, not a green filled in, okay? This thing opens at 7 and then falls to 6. This thing opens at 8 and then falls to 6. More people lost money than made money on those candles right there. That's how I view those, all right? The technical thing is, look, none of those were even over the 50. Yeah, we opened up here, but I care about the close. Yeah, we opened all the way up here, but look, we closed under, right? So, it looked decent, but it just wasn't there yet. This was the first real interesting candle, all right? You get one good one, that's not confirmation, you're back under. Right? And never a good thing, right? It's why I always stress confirmation, but lo and behold, we've now made our way back. And hey, I wish I caught this on the 15th, right? I'm not pretending I didn't, but I mean, I'm not pretending I did catch it, and I'm not pretending I wish I didn't, right? But yeah, this 15 candle all of a sudden gets us over this guy right here, right? I say it. Get over the biggest candle to the left and good things are going to happen. That was this thing right here, and my goodness, good things happened, right? So all of a sudden we're starting to test this break of the 100, but we can't do it, right? We get to it, we fall back. Lo and behold, the 8 moving average catches us and helps us up, right? And that was the 522 moment that I saw. Excuse me, right there. And you can see it was actually early in the day, right? I'm West Coast, so that 9 o'clock is 12 o'clock ish, almost 1 o'clock. So at that point, I'm sure we've opened here and probably started making our way up, right? So what it looked like, this caught us. We had a nice MACD. We had a real healthy, and we still do have a real healthy RSI. And just look at the volume, right? These are big, big volume numbers. And really, there is significant buying and not a lot of crazy selling. Accumulation is something that's really important to me. I like believing, one, that we're getting good, consistent volume, right? You see me drawing these like hopefully nice slopes instead of these like crazy, you're never going to catch them, right? The other thing I kind of look at is, does it look like people are buying and holding, or goodbye, then they're selling, goodbye, and then they're, right? And I'm seeing way more people holding than, like, this day basically cancels out this one, right? All these little other ones probably cancel this one, maybe. And look at how many other, like, there is probably there's probably a billion shares that are being held since this run from, early April, right? Late April, right? So I like that I'm seeing the accumulation and all that, all right? Let's talk about the post-market move, all right? That's a big move. That's basically a 20% jump, right? Because we went from -26 to only -8, right? That's a big, big move. Again, post-market, when it's that much, don't get me wrong, it gets really hard to like ignore. It does, even for me, right? But post-market's not the same as regular hours, all right? The volume is different. The rules are different. You can't use a stop loss, right? Like there are significant differences, but it's making it seem like this 100 moving average is holding. And look, that's a break of the 100, and that's a doji. If this thing can close around 21, that's going to be a real big thing. I want to do a couple. Let's go to the weekly. Let's see if there's any lines I can draw from the weekly. Oh man, look at that. We're pretty much there, I think. I think it's too high. Yeah, I would say we're like on the penny there, right? So what did I just do? I drew a 50% line on this big, big candle, all right? To me, that has to be something, and lo and behold, we basically landed there. As I zoom out, wow, there's actually nothing. There's nothing else I can draw back there. Let's come to the daily. All right, I think the next line I'm going to draw is that. We'll do the half of that guy. Okay, I think 26 cents is going to be the next resistance. If we break 26 cents, I really think we're coming up here. There's just not, are you something? No, you're over it all, right? Yeah, you're too high. Dude, crazy. Yeah, okay, that's what we got right there, all right? Dang. That's it. I don't have too much more right here, all right? The last thing I would say, that I think this is the last thing I'll do, and I'll draw this line. I would be a little worried to lose 14 cents, all right? Because if you lose 14 cents, you've now basically are starting to test a loss of the 8 moving average, and you might fall all the way down to the 20. Now, granted, the 20 is still going up, and maybe is going to like come around 11-ish cents, but yeah, a drop from 14 to 11 is about another 20%, give or take, right? So be careful on that 14. If this breaks 26, silly things can happen. I think the volume requirement for tomorrow is 200 million shares, all right? So if I want 200 million shares in a 7-hour trading day, we're looking for 30 million shares per hour. By hour 2, we better be over 60 million. And if we are by a good amount, oh man, that's where things can get interesting, all right? No guarantee that the 100 moving average has done the job, all right? Please don't forget that. this post market is nice to see. This is what the true thing is. I'm still seeing a doji right here. All right, so let's bounce on this thing. Let's take off. And my goodness, all right. Last thing I'm gonna say. Sorry, I lied. That's a beautiful channel, right? When you get over all three, when you get over this, when you get over this, when you get over this, you're gonna come to this. And when the spacing is this nice, with a red gap, I mean, that's what makes this beautiful, right? So congrats if you actually caught this down here around the 7-8, even catching it around the probably 13, 14 when I posted this thing has so far done really well, right? So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let me know if I missed anything. Otherwise, let's come into this one, GWAV. All right, real quick, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share, it does wonders with the algorithms. I think the first thing I want to ask the team here is what's going on? Is there something I'm missing? Like, why did all this attention come? I just came back from vacation. I'll be real honest with you. So I haven't even really looked at like the news stuff, right? But I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to do the technicals like I normally do, right? And I mean, there's a number of things that I don't like here, all right? The first one is there was a 1 for 300 reverse split, all right? Obviously, 2022 was a long time ago, right? But, oh man, that's a big reverse split first off. Second off, you know, that's just a no bueno thing, all right? The next thing I guess I got to say is, look, I like the fact that this thing has and really did well over the moving averages for a rather long time, right? It broke in November of 2020 and it basically rides, you can call this the peak, right? But I think for me, I care about the time. It rides all the way to November 21 for an entire year. It was above all the moving averages on the daily and just riding and going, right? Clearly there were moments where it came back, but the line did the job. It came back to the bottom one, but you know what? It gave us one more bounce, right? Like, I see a year of not too bad and a year of knowing what to do with the lines. However, I see 2, 3 where we've been completely under it, right? So this is definitely a stock that does not do well with the moving averages, but hey, if the moment comes, it knows what to do, all right? So that's at least my general thought on this stock. Oh, I think my cat's at the door, sorry. Is that you? Hi. All right, so from there, I zoomed in too early, I apologize. The story is the volume. I mean, just look at. Let's go to the weekly even. Yeah, this is the entire. There has never, ever been a moment where the volume looked like this. And I think to me, I ask again, I started the video with it, what's going on? Is there something I missed? Did Roaring Kitty do something? Did they actually drop some real news that warranted something? I hope it was, you know, I mean, I don't even want to say anything else right there. Let me know what I'm missing, okay? This is crazy volume, all right? I can't stress that 1 billion shares on a single day for 1, 2, 3, 4 days is next level. Let alone the fact that we actually hit 1.5. Did this one even hit 2? This one hit 1.9, right? Like, the volume is ridiculous, and clearly more people are buying and holding than they are selling, right? Like, there is no offset to this 1.9. You can basically say this one gets rid of that, this one gets rid of that, right? Whatever. We still got all these, just these two right here. There's 3 billion shares being held, basically, right? So that to me is a I can't even comprehend that, right? I'm curious what's going on here. From there, I think, oh yeah, 50, duh. The story is the 50 moving average, all right? And clearly there's a lot of red, and only a few little horizontal moments, right? Like, that's going to be a line to draw. And I actually would, it's a little, you know what? Let me move this up. I think I'd rather one single line, and I would want it right there. So I think if this can break 14 cents, there's a real good shot that we're going to go up to the 100 moving average, all right? The one thing I want to say, though, you can see, look, the 8 obviously moves 2x faster than the 20. The 20 is 2x faster, right? Like 50 is double the 100, right? So the 50 was going, and then all of a sudden starts to accelerate down, right? It seems like the 100 is getting ready to accelerate down. And obviously it's not going to be super crazy, but like, I think that this 100 line is going to start coming down a little more. And if I had to guess, I don't know if we're going to get over that candle. Normally, I wouldn't draw something for something that insignificant, but maybe maybe that's not the one. I think that's the one. See, but I think that's too high. Let me go to the weekly. I'm going to laugh. I think it's this one. Let's see if the weekly has something for us. No, it doesn't. And in fact, I would actually lower it to right here. But I gotta believe that's gonna be something. No, that's our line right there. And cool, that's in the middle of nothing. I would have not drawn that line. Okay, these are the next 2 lines up. All right, these are the next 2 lines up. And I think breaking this 22 cents is what's gonna get us up to there. All right, so let me talk a couple things out because I kind of feel like I did some stuff in my head. Okay, so the run starts with this attempt to break the 50, right? And this day right here does not get over the 50, obviously, right? This green day, I'm gonna say 2 things about this one. Number 1, this day is not as good as this day. All right, you can see when I click into it, we open at 10 and go all the way up to 15. All right, people could have made 50% that day, let alone that 140 that it actually made. Right, on this day, this guy opens at 21 and drops all the way down to 15. I think more people lost 25% this day than they actually made anything. This was a bad day, and I need a green outline over a line to believe that this does not count. Like, I wouldn't necessarily like focus on this as a doji because, right, it's a bigger like body, right? Like, this is a doji to me, not this one. But this is not a good green candle. This does not count. And same with this one. These are not 2 good days over the 50 moving average. And I think that's why the gap down made a lot of sense to me. Again, let me know if there was news here and there was something that drove it. But to me, these are 2 fake good candles that probably fooled some people. And hopefully you weren't on that side. And if you were, learn from this and never let it happen again, right? This is the same story. We open all the way up here at 12, we open over a bunch of lines, and then we drop all the way to 9. People again lost 25%, not made 12. I think a lot of people saw this at 12, watched it drop. Oh man, horribleness, right? So there are differences between good and good. You know what I mean? At this moment, I wouldn't touch this stock. All right. I really, really need this thing to break 12. Personally, I don't think I'd even touch this until 14. I think 14 is a good line. And hey, if you can go from 14 to 22, that's a 50% move. And that's a nice channel right there. It's a whole mess of nothing. And then a very, very, very beautiful red, nothing, green, red. That could be a good green right there, all right? I think it's no guarantee that we're going to break the 50. I can even see us going a little bit above the 50 and then coming back down because clearly that's been the pattern here so far, right? So I'm kind of ignoring this really big volume, and it's crazy for me to say that as a guy that always says volume is king, queen for my ladies out there, right? But I don't trust the lines. The lines aren't screaming. And look, I see the golden cross. I see this 8 going up, and it kind of looks like the 8 might even golden cross the 50 on Monday, right? Maybe I am being way too overly cautious, and maybe I am wrong here, right? But I would not touch this thing until it broke 14. Yeah, I think that's what I got. I would say this as a maybe positive for before. So let's say that this comes to 12, the 8 moving average, right? I'm kind of guessing the slope. Let's say it even comes to like 11. If the 50 comes to the 10, like I'm saying this so poorly. I need the 8 moving average to be at least a full penny above the 50. All right, if they're both at 11 cents, I'm holding this 14 cent line as the truth. if the 8 goes to 11 and the 50 goes to 10, and this opens at 11, maybe I'll believe that the 8's going to write it up. But yeah, I'm not really sure that the lines are in control here. I think that there's some interesting volume and nothing more than that. And I think I'm going to respect the lines a little bit on this one. All right. I might be completely wrong. I might be missing some important news. Let me know if that's the case. Otherwise, yeah, these are my thoughts. These are my opinions. Obviously, please let me know yours. Hey, have a great one, everyone. Enjoy the long weekend or the end of it.